Okay, good evening, everyone, and you're welcome to today's Safeoclock Health and Safety Interactive Workshop. So it's my pleasure to welcome us again. So if anyone is joining us for the first time, this is a platform where we health and safety professionals and practitioners meet virtually every week to discuss particular topic for the week. So this week we are discussing waste management. So that is the topic we are discussing for this week. And as usual, we start with a brief presentation. So after the presentation, it will now be time to discuss and share our personal experience and other. We can also ask questions and help ourselves. So I'll start up with the presentation, which will take me like a few minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. So after that, we'll continue with the contributions. So in my presentation today, I will be able to define workplace waste management. After that, I'll talk about the importance of proper waste handling. I'll talk about types of workplace waste, and I'll talk about coding systems that biomedical waste management companies use, color codings. So first, what is waste management? In every workplace, there are waste generated. So those actions and strategies that the organization have in place to be able to handle or reduce their waste is what we refer to as waste management. So some people include recycling in their waste management, while others only work on disposal of waste or reduction of waste. Also, in waste management, the major goal is to ensure that there is environmental responsibility, to ensure that the environment is taken care of. That is the major goal of waste management in every organization. So as the activities are going on, waste are being generated, and if waste are not properly managed or if waste are not properly disposed, the environment will be affected. There will be pollutions, and people can also get injured. There will be trip hazards. So this, in order to prevent this type of incidents or this type of environmental pollution, waste management becomes a responsibility of every employer or every organization. So there are different reasons why waste management is important. First one is it protects the environment. So proper disposal of waste helps to prevent air, water, land pollutions. So, and this will help to preserve natural habitats. So if the environment is not taken care of, all the natural habitats will be affected. And this is what waste management is trying to ensure. So the other one is public health and safety. Proper disposal of waste will lead to sanitary conditions in the environment, and diseases and germs will not be spread across the environment. So proper disposal of waste will lead to reduction in spreading diseases and other germs that will build up from poor waste management. So this is why it's also important. The other reason why it's important is it helps in reducing greenhouse emissions. Like last week, we talked about environmental protection and we looked at these greenhouse gas emissions. So properly disposing waste will help in reducing these greenhouse gas emissions, like methane that is generated from decomposed anaerobic substances. So Another one is, another important is it helps in conserving natural resources. So if we properly manage the waste, like recycling or reusing materials, so we reduce the need for more energy use, we save energy, and we save resources as well. Okay, another important is economic efficiency. So if wastes are properly managed, if we have proper waste management in place in the workplace, we see that those type of waste that are disposed, some of them can be recycled, and this could also bring efficiency in the financial value of the organization. Another reason is legal compliance. In most localities, is required by law for employers or for contractors or for workplaces to manage their waste properly and follow a certain set down rules and regulations. So in order to ensure legal compliance, workplaces and organizations have to manage their waste properly. The other reason for managing waste is community well-being. So if the environment is kept clean and wastes are properly managed, then there will be well-being in the community and people will have a healthy life pattern. Okay, so types of waste. We have general waste. General waste are those type of waste that can be called residual waste. So this type of waste we generate from businesses and households, and most of them are non-recyclable waste, like plastics, polythenes. So examples of general waste or the type of waste that will go into the general bin are tissues, carrier bags, soil food, all these napkins, beddings. So this type of general household generated waste, we can classify them as general waste. So the other type of waste I hope you can still see my screen.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay. So another type of waste is hazardous waste. So this type of waste is the waste that contains certain hazardous substances that are classified in form of toxicity or their reactive ability or the ability to ignite or the ability to infect others. So waste generated from this type of materials are classified in hazardous waste form. And most times it's regulated by the government. The way to dispose these waste are regulated by the government or by the local authority. So hazardous waste are those waste that are not supposed to be disposed by anyhow. Some people are satisfied and some people are licensed to dispose hazardous waste. And the type or method of disposal of hazardous waste are different from how general waste are disposed. So another type of waste that is currently emerging is known as the e-waste or the electronic waste. So these are the waste that comes from electronic materials or the electronic devices that we use at home, like computers, mobile phones, all these televisions, this medical equipment. So all the electronic gadgets that we use, when they become useless or when they are no more in use, so they become a waste and they are now classified into electronic waste. So the electronic waste is becoming a concerning issue globally now. Like in 2019, it was estimated that about 53.6 million tons of electronic waste was generated globally. So the concerns are in environmental concerns, health impact also, and the valuable resources being wasted, and global issue being raised from electronic waste. So one of the health impacts that are being considered is there are some harmful neurotoxicants that are released from this electronic waste, like lead. So when they are released into the environment, they will mix up with the atmosphere or with the air, then forming more hazardous compounds. So this is one of the major concerns about electronic waste that globally they are looking into now. Another major concern is the environmental concern that electronic waste are not easily recycled. So it's now being disposed anyhow, and the decomposition rate is very slow. So it's now a very major environmental concern that the world is looking into. Now, there's also major resources that are being put into electronic waste recycling or maybe a disposal. It's not like other general waste or maybe hazardous waste that the disposal is very easy or very less stressful. So these are some of the major concerns that we are looking into now in terms of the electronic waste. So these are some codes or color codes that waste bins are used. So this might not be generally in all over the world or in all the industries, but these are certain some examples that people can decide to use in order to segregate their waste, ensure that waste are properly managed and they are not mixed up. So the blue waste bin can be used to collect papers, tissues, handbags, or laminated paper. So all the waste that are like combustible waste. So the other color is green waste bins can be used to collect biodegradable materials. So those materials that can easily decompose. So we can use the green waste bin, green colored waste bin to collect them. So the red colored waste bin can be used to collect the plastic coatings. So those materials that are also used in landfill waste. So landfill waste can be collected with red bin colored bins, like plastic bags, stickers, grease wrappers, polystyrene. So this type of waste, we can decide to use red colored waste bin to collect them. So for yellow colored waste bin, so this can be used in collecting a mixture of waste. So we can use it to collect some of the waste that can be recycled. Can use it to collect them together, like the glass bottles, cardboard, newspaper. So this waste that they can easily be segregated, we can collect them in yellow colored waste bin. So in biomedical waste management, they use different types of coding for them. So for yellow, they use yellow colored waste bin for human anatomical waste, like human tissues, organs, amputated parts. So they can collect it with yellow waste bin. The red one is for rubbers like tubes, bottles, urine bags. So they are collected with red colored bins. Blue one is used to collect glasses like broken bottles, injection bottles. So these are where they put the blue color, they use the blue colored waste bin for. So the white one is for sharp objects like needles and syringe, while black is used to collect general waste in the hospitals like waste bottles, paper waste. So this is how biomedical departments or biomedical sessions color their own waste bins. So the concept of waste management goes with 3 R's: reduce, recycle, reuse, and recycle. And the hierarchy goes from reduce first before reuse and recycle. So the concept is you try to reduce the waste you generate and try to reuse. When you reuse items instead of using new ones, like shopping bags, having your own shopping bags instead of collecting polythene bags in the shopping mall. So that is a concept of reuse. And if all these ones did not meet up your target of waste management, then the next option is to recycle. So recycle is the process of turning this products into new one, the ones that has been used before, recycling it and using it to make another product. So this is the process of waste management in terms of sustainability and environmental friendly lifestyle. So this is the much I've prepared to discuss today. So it's time I will keep the floor open for others to contribute. Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Stanley, your hand is up. Go ahead. Mr. Stanley, has he left? I
think he's still here.
No, that was Stanley. Somebody raised up hand. Okay, the floor is open. Anybody can go ahead and contribute.
Let me just add 1 or 2 things. Actually, when you talk about waste management, at this level, you've said it. You've said a lot. At least you've been able to cover up most of those things we need to know. So, but basically, if I could remember when I was with my previous company, because it was a service industry, and part of the service work our technicians do then is I think we service this garbage. If you go to all this high-rise building, you see this garbage chute system. At least from each floor they have like when you go to Pearl, Qatar, you see all those high-rise buildings. Even in West Bay, they have at each floor they have a kind of waste will I say collection or deposit area where they just throw their waste and all that. But in a more advanced, I think, is it in Qatar Energy Building? Yes, I think in Qatar Energy Building, because we work on the building maintenance system of that building when it was almost finishing stage of the construction and all that. So I think my company, they installed the building maintenance system actually. So, and we also pursue the contract for the waste collection system also, because I discover in that Qatar Energy Building, the one in West Bay, they have what we call automatic waste collection system. I just want to pour out, because when we talk about waste management and all that, I think technology has gotten to a more advanced level whereby the system separates, or will I say segregate, the waste. Because like the way that collection system is, when you go to the basement, you see they have different chamber that you put the waste in one same section, but I don't know how this machine will just separate other food waste from the other kind of general waste and all that. But at the end of the day, you discover that all the waste will be segregated, will be channeled to where they belong to until they are taken away completely from there to wherever they want to take it to. So, and it was a very nice concept that you won't just know because our company service, so we know what happened at the basement level, but from the high-rise level, you don't know, you just put in your waste, before you know it, the machine will just segregate and do a lot of things. And when we continue to adopt such kind of concept and mechanism, I think we'll be able to reduce a lot of pollution within the environment, because when we look at so many countries, especially those areas in Africa, we'll see how this plastic bag, plastic container are used to pollute the water bodies, and we know what that can be done, will be done to the environment, so there are a lot of issues, a lot of research that has been done about all these things. So that is why we must continue to encourage from our own side, as for those of us who are professional, who are educated to this level, and I believe the triple R, all those things, we should continue to apply it from ourselves. What we do at home. The other day we talked about a lot of things, how we can reduce consumption of water and all those things. So it's a collective effort, and it also starts from our individual way, because when we talk about environmental issues, it affects everybody, right from our own. It's how we practice those things that reflect back to the society, which for me, I feel it is very important. If every individual begin to reuse, reduce, and recycle, then I think the world will continue to sustain in terms of environmental issues. So there are a lot. Environmental topic is waste management is part of the environmental issues so that we face today. So I would just want to employ every one of us to try to work on our own side to contribute for a better future for us all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stephen, for that wonderful contribution and experience. So that is one of the reasons why we are here. At least you've been able to tell us that there is a technology ongoing for in-house waste segregation. So thank you. All right, the floor is still open for others to contribute.
Okay, can I go on?
Yes, go ahead.
All right, is it evening over there? But I want to say good evening to everyone, and thank you very much, Mr. Johnson, because the way you presented the topic is very elaborate, and I think that's why a lot of us are finding it difficult. We don't even know where to come in, But however, with everything that has been said, I would want to talk about, the transportation of these waste from site. The strategy that we adopt in our construction sites in managing this waste, the waste is being generated from the construction site and activity, and close to the site, the different types of waste bins, are provided, waste kits, waste shuttles, they are all being provided just to segregate the waste at the collection point. So once the waste are being deposited and discarded at the various waste bin, we have the environmental company that is in charge of the waste collection. So what the environmental company does is they have their trucks, on daily basis, they go around, they drive down to where the waste skid and waste bins are kept. They rebag the waste and throw it into their waste truck. So they drove off to an area that is designated, call it a waste refuge dump. All right, so they throw the waste, and in that waste refuge dump site, again, it is segregated. So you have the area for general waste, for bio waste, which are the medical waste, for the plastic and glass waste and all of that, both construction waste, hazardous and non-hazardous, which is organic and inorganic waste. So once it's deposited there, we also have a third-party company that comes in to the project site, to collect this waste, but they don't come regularly. So maybe they will visit once in every month or twice in every month. It depends based on my observation from different projects that have been involved. But for these third-party companies, waste vendors that are coming to collect the waste, they must be certified by the federal environmental ministry of that country. Every country has their environmental, federal environmental ministry. So such vendors that are responsible for collecting waste from construction sites to another waste dump site, they must be licensed. So that is one of the criteria the company uses, in terms of selection, during selection. So they must present that license as an evidence. And once they are being contracted, awarded the contract to be removing the waste from their busy construction site. So whenever the vendor comes to the construction site to collect those waste from the waste dump site, they have what we call the waste consignment note. There must be a waste consignment note. And in the waste consignment note, they contain the resources, like what is the tonnage of that waste, they are going to collect. So you need to put a record of the waste and the type of waste, because sometimes you may have a situation whereby, okay, I might get to that for legal litigations, legal reasons. So the vendors, they will collect this waste, sign the waste consignment notes, and most times the waste consignment note form comprises of duplicates, right? So they sign, they take their copies. Your environmental engineer or environmental supervisor, whoever is dedicated, assigned to manage that process, would also keep a copy as an evidence. And that also helps the company to, take record of what quantity of waste, what quantity of the different type of waste that is being, being transported out of the construction site. And what that also helps us to analyze, the waste, amount of waste that is being generated from the construction site in terms of the hazardous waste and non-hazardous waste. And me using the word hazardous waste, non-hazardous waste, for the hazardous waste, even the concrete that is generated, those are still classified as hazardous wastes, right? Not just only the bio waste and all that. So now, there are cases where some of those vendors, instead of going to discard those wastes in the government approved waste dump site, some may end up, discarding those wastes, dumping it into the water bodies, into the ocean, and of course we know the essence of damage that would do to the microorganisms, to the fish, living in those water, how the water could get polluted depending on the kind of waste. It could be chemical waste, oil, stuff like that. So just in case maybe in the future there are issues, it could be traced down to your company, right? And having that consignment note, having the record of the type of waste and amount of waste that is taken for your construction site would really help to vindicate your company that, what is taken out, because a lot is happening, and there are records of, some of these vendors, they take this way of going to the dump site because they pay for it. So some don't want to pay that money because it's huge. They will just divert it.
Just this is around there. No, no. This all this what they go put inside. All this my cap.
Someone is interrupting. So I think I will just stop here. That's my own little contribution. Thank you.
The person was talking to someone else, but it's okay. Thank you very much for your wonderful contribution. All right, David Doha, I think you were raising your hand before.
Yeah, good evening all.
Good evening.
I just wanted to share my own experience related to the topic at stake. See, I happen to work in an organization where waste management is not really treated with so much caution, like my namesake clearly highlighted the step-by-step process. We work in an organization where all wastes are deposited at one point and collected by a truck to the designation. Maybe that is where the segregation will take place. So it so happened in one scenario that suddenly we realized there was a fire. The fire started up at the waste disposal area, and we managed to extinguish the fire. And the root cause of it was that different kind of waste, both hazardous waste.
If they want to flat, if they want to be inside, the seat income.
Biological waste and other kinds of waste materials are being stored together at one point, which causes them to kind of chemical reaction to set up, and this causes the fire. And even till now, they have not taken any drastic measure on how we can segregate the waste from the source. So, the experience hearing what David has said, and also what you have also highlighted in the topic at stake that we are treating today. So it's a wake-up call, and it shows that we still have a long way to go in improving our waste management system in the company. So that's my own experience. Thank you.
All right, thank you, David, for that contribution. And like you stated, this is one thing that can go wrong if waste are not properly managed. Fire, break, and even injury. If broken bottles and papers are all put together, somebody can get injured. So proper waste management goes a long way to prevent a lot of things. So thank you very much for that wonderful contribution. Okay, do we have someone else that wants to contribute? Still have a few minutes left. Any other further contribution? If not, we can call it a day. Okay, guys, there's no need keeping us since we've exhausted our contribution. So thank you very much for your time.
I don't know how they wash our house. Where they go use broom cleaner.
So thank you for joining today, and next week.
Tomorrow
All right, thank you very much. Francis, thank you. Stephen, David, Amajade, thank you very much for joining. And see you next week.